trade deadline is approaching soonish. Some teams are starting to tank. Let's name some players that the Niners could or should target at the deadline. If they're going all in.
Yeah, if they're going all in, which I think they should. It's wide open. You still have a chance. And
well, let's see it. Let's see them beat Atlanta first. But yes, that's true.
Right, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? If they lose to Atlanta, that's a whole different story. But yeah.
No, I agree with you. But okay, so big name player that I have top of mind is a position of need right now because Kinlaw and Armstead, who knows what's going on with those guys. Yes, they have some good players. They went and just signed another player who was kind of a preseason darling, but he's 29 years old, came from Minnesota. To me, a guy that will probably be available or potentially could be available and is a big-time player as a defensive tackle is Daron Payne from Washington. 25 years old, 6'3", 320 pounds. He has an interception and a safety in his career. He has 12 passes deflected, a forced fumble, 17 sacks, 42 QB hits, 26 tackles for loss, and most importantly, Grant, he's only missed one game in his now 5th season. So
love it.
Payne would be an absolute stud.
Yeah, love it. Yeah,
and he helps you in the future. He solves that problem in the future because he's an absolute baller. So yes, Daron Payne, who I think may be made available potentially, that would be a guy I would try.
And if he were on the team, then they could be like, the Payne train is coming. The Payne train. Woo woo! You know what I'm saying?
Remember the Office linebacker? Is what it is? Yeah, Terry Tate.
Get ready for the Payne, baby. All right. Terry Tate.
All right. I've got 2 more, and these ones aren't as sexy, but guys that certainly could help out when it comes to depth, and guys that I think are going to be available or will be.
That's too bad because I got sexy names, so you better bring.
Oh, you got some sexy names. Okay. All right. Well,
I got some sexy names.
I'm going realistic names, Grant. You can go sexy. I'll go realistic. Okay. Another guy who can help on the defensive line as well. Interestingly enough, this team seems to not know how to get the best out of their talent, and the 49ers already took one of their guys, was on their way to taking a second one of their guys and turning them into pretty good players before he got injured. That is the Raiders. Clelland Farrell is available, 25 years old, 6'4", 265-pound edge rusher. Not the best. He hasn't looked the best, but his rookie year, the year that he actually played a majority of the snaps, he had 5 passes deflected, 4.5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, and 8 QB hits. There is potential there, and you would get him on the cheap. He'll be available, and a guy that Chris Kasarik probably could turn into a stud low-key for a season and let him get paid.
Okay.
And then the last one is offensive side of the ball. Not going to be flashy, not going to be a wide receiver,
not sexy,
anything crazy.
Not sexy.
Isaiah Wynn.
We're talking. Oh, okay.
Isaiah Wynn. He's a guy that I talked about preseason. Also to get. He can play both tackle spots. He's a much better left tackle than he is a right tackle, but he can play both. I just don't know how much you can trust McGlinchey to stay healthy, and we've already seen what happens to Trent Williams, who is the best left tackle in the game, but he misses games every year. And what if you get to the end of the season and you need somebody to plug and play? Plus, this man can be your future right tackle if McGlinchey does leave, which I think he probably will. I think Isaiah Wynn would be a good get as well.
Those are some very realistic options. I like your little choice there. Sexy or realistic. My whole life, I've never felt like I had to choose between those two. All right, let's go sexy. Let's go extra sexy after dark. To me, look, you named good players at positions of need. But the way I look at it is, I mean, the Niners can get D tackles off the street. Like, I'm not worried about them. You know, Akeem Span, all their guys are hella good. Where they have a big problem is cornerback. Mosley's not coming back, and I think everyone's kind of hoping that Jason Verrett's gonna be captain, save a corner. That's a lot to ask Jason Verrett at 31 with no offseason. Like, I don't know about that. And if it's not Jason Verrett, then who's it going to be? You really think they're going to put Sam Womack out there at 5'9" so he could go against Drake London this weekend? I don't know about that. I don't know that they necessarily have an answer there. So they could try, and they could give some guys some auditions. But if it doesn't go well in the next few weeks, they lose a game or something because of this number 2 cornerback spot, they might have to trade for a corner. So, I mean, J.C. Horn is a guy with a name who's hella good. I don't know if he's available, but he's hella good. Stefan Gilmore, I don't know. I mean, you tell me what corners are available. Whichever corner is good and available, the Niners might have to make an offer they don't want to make because that's a big problem. That's a big problem at corner. Huge.
I think realistically, you're looking at like Sidney Jones.
Don't talk to me about realistic. You want J.C. Horn? I can get you to Sidney Jones. That's I'm gonna need about 7 more beers before I can talk about Sidney Jones.
I know you want the Cadillac Grant, but your credit score says Hyundai. Okay, so that's what we're gonna go with. Is we're looking at these cars on the car lot. Okay,
ooh, that's true.
J.C. Horns was my draft crush going into last year, so if they could somehow swing J.C. Horn, I swear, or 2 years ago,
Kyle never tested him. It was like, oh, he's on Brandon Ayuk, going somewhere. Oh, he's on Debo, going somewhere else. Thank you very much.
I agree with that. Yeah,
that's the truth. I don't look. I wish I was more prepared. I don't know which. I mean, it could change, right? Who wins, who loses, which teams are buying, and which teams are selling. But honestly, the Niners have to be looking at this cornerback spot. And I don't know if they'll go out and get a big name, but they might have to get someone a little bit more solid and realistic than like Sam Womack. Their options right now are basically they're hoping Ambry Thomas steps it up. When all they've said all offseason is, man, this guy had a real. Everyone is better than him. Someone asked Kyle today, what's up with Ambry Thomas? Like, how come he really finished the season strong? What happened? And he's like, yeah, the other guys passed him. Oh, okay. Like, basically, it sounded like he had a few good games and he thought that he did something. You know, players do that, and he just had like the worst offseason of all time, which he did. I mean, I've never seen a cornerback struggle like that in an NFL training camp. But that's just practice. Like, I thought Jawan Jennings struggled in training. He's a gamer.
Yeah.
Maybe Ambry's a gamer too. He was a gamer last year. He was.
Well, it's easier to be a gamer too when you've got a lot of really good pieces around you. Last year he played and he didn't have the greatest pieces around him, and he was still able to make it work. So maybe he can figure it out. I think maybe they move Lenore outside and Womack goes back inside. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But what happened with Verrett today? I saw you posted a video. I didn't get to watch it. What he tested it and what?
I mean, he's just moving around. I mean, it's kind of like a Rorschach test. What do you see? He doesn't. I never see him going full out. But
it
it's
looked like he was
warm-ups.
kind of checking the knee low key. Last week when he was doing it, it was like, oh man, is he
that's what I'm
feeling
saying, man.
okay?
I think it's a fantasy. I think it's a fantasy to expect him to come in and just save the season. I mean, I don't think they ever wanted him to be in that position. So let's see.
There's only one man for this job, and his name is Dante Johnson.
That's what I was just about to say, man. You know he's going to start this week. And he may do just a fine job because they need size against Drake London. They do. Dave Barclay says, oh, yeah, I asked this once before. Any way to determine Jimmy stats before guys get yak? I'm so curious. There are ways to do it. There are.
Yeah, it's a Pro Football Reference. It'll get it.
Yeah, and actually his game, he had the 2 big yak plays from Juwan the second half, which was the offense. But in the first half, he was throwing the ball down the field for the first time since he went to, was it Eastern Illinois?
His air yards per attempt are basically the same as what they were last year. Mm-hmm. It's like 7.5 last year and 7.6 this year.
Mikey Niner says pass block O-line is probably a need heading into the playoffs. Yeah, the offensive line just hasn't been great in general, but they haven't had Trent Williams either.
It's true. Big difference.
Keep up the great creative content, you guys. Thank you very much. Jesse will. I don't know if I can do it. San Fran Niner fan says dark horse trade Gardner Minshew.
You might need a quarterback because Jimmy does get injured.
It's true.